Hey, in digital media class, I would like you to get in the habit of when you don't know something, use your online resources and your knowledge of exploring the program to try to figure it out. So that's what I'm going to model for you with this assignment. So this will be a team slide. So there should be 4 copies of the same slide in here. When you come in, you pick one slide and that's your slide. So you'll want to put your name on it pretty quick so that nobody else will change it and they'll see that that's yours. So come in and start following the steps. I don't tell you how to do the steps. I will demonstrate in this video, but just know that as you're doing steps, try to think about how can I figure this out? Because the better you are at that, the better you'll be at navigating our programs and getting your certifications in our programs. So it says, make the background of this slide a picture of somewhere you'd like to spend your time. So if I don't know how to make a background on the slide, then I'm looking for something, possibly the word background. And so first I'm going to look at what's visible and what's showing. And I can see this says background right here. So now it needs to be a picture. So I'm not going to choose color, though it is nice to know you can choose a color. You can make it a gradient. You can make it a custom gradient. Right now, I'm going to pick an image and I can upload. If I have a picture of a place I like to be already on my computer, that's great. I can take a picture. If you're in your room, you can try to turn it around, take a picture. If I know a photo's URL, I can do that. Or I can do a Google image search, which is what I want to do. So as you guys saw, hiking is a place I like to be. So that's my spot. And I'm just going to choose this one. Okay. And as you can see, part of these letters, they're hard to see now. That's one thing you need to think about in digital media. You want there to be good contrast between your text and the images so that you can clearly see what the text says. So when it does something like this for me, I like to just, in Google Slides, put a highlight color of like white. So it will definitely make my text stand out more. In Photoshop, you can do shadows and beveling and stuff that will really help. But for now, that works. As you go through, go ahead and just delete the part you've taken care of so you can check it off the list. Find a unique font that's not one of the basics in Google Slides and use it to type your name in size 30 plus font and your favorite color. Okay, so if you don't know how to find a font that's not one of the basics, then do a search, such as add more fonts to Google Slides. There are some font websites you could use, but a lot of times like the font, if you download that font, it will get it on your computer, but you want it in Google Slides. So that's why I did this search. Usually the first video is a good one to look at, but you could explore a little bit more. And so this video had a good tip. For your convenience, I'll go ahead and link that video to the slide in here. Not one of the basics. And it will tell you how to do it. But basically, it says, okay, so let's go ahead and use this text box. My name is Camille Turner. Let's find a font that's not one of the basics. According to that demo, I have to go to this, but I can look at more fonts. And on here, I can see a lot more interesting fonts. Which one seems to fit my personality? Honestly, I think I'm more of a Barlow condensed. It doesn't look that interesting. Or Archivo narrow. Let's try both of those. So I've added those to the list. And I guess it's important to remember what I said. Barlow condensed. See how that looks? It said size 30, my favorite color. Size 30. My favorite color is halfway between a blue and a green, so I'm going to come over here to the color picker. Oh yeah, we're looking at something like that now. Okay, get rid of that bullet. Okay, so there's that for now. But what if you don't like those fonts? Those aren't fun enough. There are sites like Font Generator where you can make a font, and if it's just like one-time use, download a picture or take a screenshot of whatever you have written in that font. Ooh, let's do Bleeding Cowboys. So Camille Turner. And I'm going to use my, they don't have my blue. Let's do that. Text background is transparent, which is good. And now I can download a JPEG. If I do that, the background's going to be white because JPEG doesn't remember that it has a transparency. Or a ping. I recommend a ping. And it looks like it may not have updated with my name yet. It still has example text. So let's go ahead. There we go. Download it. Once you have it downloaded, find your downloads folder or your desktop, wherever it tends to download, and then you can just drag it onto your slide. It didn't change my color. You get the point though, right? So I said font 30 plus. I don't care about it being exactly 30, but I want it at least that big. So that's why I specified. Add at least 4 items out of the table below on this slide to show us about yourself. The middle box is a required item. So you have to have a picture of you. If you happen to have one out on your desktop, you can just drag it in. But you could also, if you don't have one, insert image camera. Let's do this. Take a shot and insert. Trying to be interesting, I got slanted. Anyway, that's all I want. Just picture you so that we know what you look like. I'm going to send that to the back so it's behind my text. Okay, so I got rid of the picture of me. Good. Now I need to get 3 other items. 2 hobbies. I can list the hobbies. Hobbies. Going to free events. Running. Or you could take pictures of the hobbies. Picture of your friends, picture of your family, your goals, your interests. Animated GIF. That one sounds interesting to me. So let me go find an animated GIF. So what is something that I think is interesting? Because a lot of this stuff I find goofy. Let's just go in a race. Okay, you can always try just clicking and dragging because that's the easiest way to get something in. If not, then you will want to link. So you'll just right click or control click, command click, copy link address. And then in the slide, insert image by URL. And then you can put something like that in. Okay, so I got that motivational quote. One more thing I need. Pictures of what you like to watch or listen to. Okay. Well, it's old school, but I like to watch Psych. So I'm going to drag that in. What else do I like to watch? I like to watch, I never remember the name of it, that con man show. White Collar. Notice if something ever says pictures, it's plural. That means you at least need 2 things. Okay. So I got that. I took care of my table. I can go ahead and delete my table now that I have all the basic requirements. Now I'm looking here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and okay, one thing I want to point out, you can see how this says generated by fontgenerator.com. It is good to keep your image credits. For the looks of it, for this, since we aren't sharing this with anybody, we'll just use the crop tool and crop that right off so it looks better in general. I asked you to mask one of the pictures you took, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to use a picture. So for masking, how do you mask? This is something I discovered and I wanted to show you. Masking is part of the crop tool. You just choose whatever it is you want to mask and then choose what shape, and then it will apply that shape and change the sides of the image. Okay, so let's undo that. Let's say I didn't want the smiley face mask. Let's go back to the drop-down menu. Let's do that. So kind of cool. But I wanted you to know about that because we will do a lot of masking effects in Photoshop and we will benefit from this. Okay, recolor one of the images you used. So I'll take this image to recolor. What could I use to recolor? I could use a color, but I'm not seeing colors. I could look on this, but image format options can give us more options. So look, we got recolor over here. And so right now it has no recolor, but here I can change. And in Photoshop, there's a lot of ways you can recolor more advanced. We'll get into that once we get access to Photoshop. Now, finally, add a drop shadow to some of the text you typed. Look at this. It's already in format options. So here's some text I typed. It's pretty boring. There we go. Now it's looking a little bit better. Let's add a drop shadow. Oops. I don't want the color to be black. There we go. Look at that. See, that provides a little bit of contrast from the background without having that ugly white highlight. So if you put it in the right spot, it makes it pop off the background. Finally, add something else all your own. It could be adding a YouTube video of your favorite part of a movie. Whatever it is, it will just make it more interesting for us to see. And you can delete these instructions when you're done. I'm going to go ahead and just put this down in the bottom. Then finally, you want to arrange it to where it actually looks good. And it's something we want to see. So I just want to see that your layout design can come out a little bit in this. So try to do your best to arrange it to look nice and add something else all your own. I'll find that something else, add this. I'll leave this slide in as an example for you guys and leave the instructions on every slide. But when you're finished with your part of the assignment in Google Class, you will just post, "I've finished my part," as a comment on the assignment, and then I'll know that your part is done.